Hello, I'm Mike Luke from Albion Archaeology. We're back here this year in 2014, about to finish actually the excavations that we started last year in 2013. The areas that we're looking at this year are generally on the periphery of the development of the area. So for example, this test pit was sited here because it was in an area of low resistance as shown by the geophysical survey. So we're actually on the top of the slope. If we look slightly upslope, that's where the Rank Care Homes facility has been built. And then if we start walking down, you'll see that the majority of the test pits that we've dug are around the periphery of the field. And this is largely because the landowner would prefer us to look in those areas, and also because we had interesting geophysical results. So the one we looked at uphill produced a low resistance reading, suggested it was very soft ground. The ones that we've looked at here around the edges of the trees that we'll look at in a second all produced high resistance readings. And this year we've done tremendously well with the number of test pits. Last year we excavated 3 test pits in about 10 days. This year this is only our 7th or 8th day and we've already managed to dig 6 or 7 test pits. A lot more work, a lot more hard work, and that's helped by the fact that our team of volunteers is much more experienced and also much larger than we had last year. So this test pit is one that we excavated in the high resistance area. Unusually, with high resistance you'd expect to find rubble or stones. This area has just come straight down through the modern topsoil and the medieval plough soil onto the natural. We did get a small number of finds, Roman pottery and a little bit of Roman tile from the topsoil, but in terms of archaeological features and deposits, this is basically a blank. Unusual, but we'll come back to that a bit further down. If we move round to the next test pit, we have got an archaeological feature immediately adjacent. Again, this was excavated in a low potential area. So here we were expecting some kind of feature, some kind of soil mark, and we have actually got a Roman ditch. You can see the Roman ditch there, maybe about 50 centimetres wide, heading approximately east-west, as we now know. We excavated the fill of that and we found one small piece of Roman pottery within it. We know it's Roman. It's slightly isolated from the rest of the activity, so maybe it's a boundary ditch or a fill boundary. So an archaeological feature in this test pit. And then where the red and white pole is onto the sort of natural subsoil that we've seen in the other test pits. So if we now move down slope again, on the edge of the trees, this is an area of high resistance. So every test pit we were expecting to find stone deposits, gravel, something like that. But each one has given us a bit of a surprise. We've dug through the modern topsoil, we've dug through the sort of medieval plough soil, and again we've come down onto the natural geology. We have had a small quantity of finds again from the topsoil, maybe a small quantity of pottery, small quantity of Roman roof tile, but otherwise no Roman features, no Roman deposits. Because we were getting worried when we were digging through that we may have been missing some of the deposits, we've actually in the next test pit gone down much deeper into the natural, into the geology. So here in this test pit we've excavated down below the medieval plough soil just to make absolutely sure that the natural is the natural. So we've gone down another 50 centimetres. We did get one piece of possibly prehistoric worked flint, but otherwise no Roman material, no Iron Age material at all. So we're quite happy that this is actually the geology. This is what we call the natural in archaeology. Then the next test pit is the most exciting, and it's one of our biggest test pits that we've excavated so far. We started off with our standard shape and standard size hole, a 2 by 2, 2 metres by 2 metres square. Because we started to find an interesting layer of stones below the medieval plough soil that spread out, mainly laid down, mainly limestone, we've extended the test pit not just once, not just twice, but actually 3 times. So now we've got what started off as a 2 by 2 hole as a sort of 4 by 4, almost like an open air excavation. And in terms of the Roman features that we've got the further extent of the stone surface. It's possibly external, it seems quite rough. It's probably an external surface, a yard or a courtyard, something like that. And we've got Roman pottery and Roman tile within it. We've excavated it through it in 2 areas and we've recovered a lot more Roman pottery. So later on we'll be able to date it more accurately. So we've got one stone surface, and then the other feature, which unbelievably in archaeology always occurs in the very corner of the test pit, is that we've got a trench, what seems to be a wall trench, that's about 50 centimetres wide, currently about 50 centimetres deep, and it's got a lot of large stones in it, and it seems as if it's probably a wall trench. Whether it's the foundation trench of a building or whether it's the robber trench of the building, we're still not sure, and people are still digging there to make sure that we can understand. And this trench has produced the most quantity of Roman pottery and Roman tile from the whole field. And then the exceptional finds from this, the 4 bronze finds that we've actually had 4 Roman coins from this test pit. All the other test pits produce pottery and tile, but no coins. So this test pit is the one that we might want to think about, maybe coming back another year to have a look at, to see if we can understand the surface, and also if we can try and understand the arrangement of the buildings.